Hey, this your boy Elijah. Welcome to another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. This is going to be an exciting show, um, just because it's another Humble Dad show. You dig? Thanks for everybody that's going to be looking at it, taking notes. Uh, got my barber here with me. Is going to shed some light on some interesting dialogue of what it is to be a stepfather. Um, I think he's been my barber almost 2 years, I guess, something like that. And we've had some really good dialogue just about life, about marriage, about fatherhood, and business. And so this is going to be good. So without further ado, I want to welcome none other than my barber, King Kutter. Lasana is in the building. What's up, man?
What's going on? What's going
Oh
on,
man,
Elijah?
let me check on something. We can't even hear you yet.
Y'all
Let
can't
me let
hear
me
me?
see something. Let me check on something. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You can hear me. So I
Mhm.
might have to change something. Technology is weird sometimes.
I know.
Um, let me see if I need to take off my. Thank you. I might have to adjust something.
Yeah, that's fine.
This typically doesn't happen off the top. Let me see. Uh, can you still hear me?
hmm
So you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Is everything off?
Everything. Hold on.
I'm gonna have to adjust something.
Can you hear me now? No.
Yeah. So as he gets back on, I want to say thank you to everybody that has supported the podcast thus far, and the dads that is impacted has been really great. All right, I can hear you now.
You
I
can
don't
hear
know
me?
what the deal was. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. You all right, man? You looking good?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. I
Yeah.
actually just made it back home like 10 minutes ago.
All right. Hey, I got you beat. I made it home 5 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah? Hey, man.
Yeah, I
Record
was.
time.
Yeah, I was. For my birthday's tomorrow, right? And
Okay.
so I hadn't. I usually buy me like a some type of birthday outfit, if you will,
Right.
and I had forgot. And then at the last minute, I said, "Okay, let me go," because the mall closes at 7 over here now,
Right.
and I got the show to do, and then I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to get.
Right. Right. Oh, man. That, that's just more time added.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna dive off into this, man. Uh, it takes about 45 minutes, 60 minutes, depending on the context of the conversation. And
Right.
I want to first start off by saying thank you for being here. Uh,
My pleasure.
so I want to. This first question that I have is, what do you feel like the difference between a father and a dad is?
Hmm. A father and a dad. Uh, the difference between a father and a dad. I'm gonna start with a. I'm gonna start with a dad.
Okay.
I would say a dad is somebody that is in a child's life. Um, a dad is somebody that like the child can acknowledge that person, that man, as a dad with no resistance. You know, a dad is somebody that a son, can be proud to say, that's my dad. A dad is somebody that's real active in their child's life. Um, I would say everybody wants a dad. You know, everybody wants a dad. A father. Now, me personally, when I think about the word father, I still think about somebody that is an influence in a child's life. A father is somebody that is more so. When I hear the word father, I think about a teacher. Also, at the same time, so I believe it really depends on who the person is. Some people, may say a father is somebody that's just on a piece of paper, or a father is somebody that's, related to you by blood, your father by blood. So
Mm-hmm.
I really think it's based on one's perception, but I definitely do think a dad is something that a child always wants, is a dad.
Interesting. Interesting. So, you said that everyone wants a dad. What makes you say? What makes you say that? Does that mean that that person that wants a dad doesn't want a father? Or could you kind of explain what you mean by that?
It really depends on the kid, on the child, um, and what type of relationship they want. Me personally, growing up, I lost my dad at 8 years old.
Wow.
So growing up, I always wanted, that father figure, that dad figure. I
Wow.
always wanted that somebody to, teach me something, somebody to come up to the school and pick me up or show me different things and just help me navigate through life. That's
Mm.
something I always want. I would see it through movies and television shows, and how, the dad would come home after work and play with the kids. That was something that I always missed out on in my childhood and in
Yeah.
my adulthood. And that's something that I always wanted, with a dad.
So, so you talked about that. You said that you lost your dad at 8. Did you recognize at 8 that he was going? So what
Yeah.
about before 8? Do you remember him
Mhm.
before 8?
Man, I really think I'm blessed because I do, even though I was young. So the last time I seen my father, I was 5. So
Oh, wow.
that was the last time, and he passed when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed because even when I was 5, I still have a handful of memories that I can really, ponder on from my dad.
Wow. So what are some memories that you? What's the one that stands out to you as you think about it?
Um, there's a few.
Okay.
I remember when I was young. I probably about 5 years old, and I remember one morning I couldn't sleep, and my dad was an older guy. My dad, when I was born, my dad was 58. Yeah, 58. So let's see. In this situation, he was 63 at the time. If I was 5, so
Wow.
I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I was hungry. So the memory I have is that my dad taking me to the kitchen and picking me up, putting me on the counter, and making me some cereal. It was a cornflakes. Yeah, I remember him making me some cornflakes, and I remember him putting the cereal in the bowl and putting the milk in the bowl and having me try some. And I was like, he let me try some, and I was like, And he added, he was like, it needs sugar. I was like, yeah, it needs sugar. So he kept on putting sugar in it, and he let me taste it to see if it was sweet enough. I was like, no, still not enough sugar. So he put some more sugar, and I ate it. I said, okay, it's good now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty
So,
vivid of a memory, man.
oh yeah, man, that's one thing I really think God really blessed me with. It's like early memories of my father.
That's what's up. So as you got older, um, you said you looked for the people to be your dad, or you was looking for a father figure. Did you
Yeah.
have any?
Not really a father figure,
Okay.
but I did have a couple uncles from my dad's side that stepped in to make sure I was okay, during my adolescent years.
So what was some of the takeaways that you got from them, or how would you consider them to be a father figure?
Um, it's very interesting because I come from a Liberian background,
Okay.
so I'm
Explain that
the.
to us for those that don't know.
You said what?
Explain that to us. What's a
Okay,
Liberian?
so Liberia, that's a country in West Africa,
Yeah.
right there on the coast by the water. Um, my family, they came here like in the 80s, in the mid 80s. That's when a lot of Liberians, a lot of immigrants were actually coming to America.
Mm, yeah.
And they came here in the 80s, and I grew up in straight up Liberian household. Like I grew up eating Liberian food. When I was young, I had a slight Liberian accent too, because that's all I was around. So I mean, from the food to the music growing up, it was straight up. So I really got the best of both worlds. I got the Liberian culture and I had the American culture.
Okay. So
Most
then,
definitely.
what were some of the things that they was able to, or you able to learn from them?
So the thing about that is that Liberians we're really like cultured and we're really close knit. And
Right.
my dad, he was a major influence in the community. So one thing my uncles always did was they always spoke to me and taught me about different things that my dad did, back in the day.
Okay.
And saying what he did for the community, and he was an educator too. So they always told me different stories about my father. And even when
Right.
I was young, and to this day, I still, love hearing stories about my father.
Oh wow. So
Like it,
go
it, it
ahead.
grabs my attention like that.
So what stories did they tell you that you remember?
Um, let's see here. Um, which one do I want to say? So my dad he was a major educator. So they would tell me how.
Like a teacher?
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah, he was a teacher. So they would tell me how he used to educate at Prairie View A&M University. They would tell me how he used to pick up a lot of the kids, even from
Wow.
like the local churches and stuff like that, and pick them up in the church van and take them to church and all throughout the neighborhood. And so
Wow.
he did all kinds of things.
What kind of educator was he? You said Prairie View.
Yeah, Prairie View A&M University.
How long was he there?
Uh, Shit, he was there for a minute. He was there probably from that probably 10, I'll say about 10, 15 years, maybe from like I would say about 10 years from the
What year?
mid
What
80s to
what
mid 90s.
no way.
Yeah.
That's cool because my uncle was there.
Okay. Okay.
My uncle ran track there.
Okay.
And I was the let's see, they called him Animal, and so I got to visit. I got to visit him during the '80s. So
Nice.
he may have been one of my uncle's teachers.
Might have been.
That's a small world.
Might have been, man.
That's a small world. So as you transition, how do you develop the characteristics of what a man should be?
I said, as I grow and develop.
Yeah, as you were growing up. So let me go back. Let's
Okay.
go back
Okay.
to let's change the question. So talk to me about what type of person you were middle school through high school.
That's a good question. You get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah,
Okay. Middle school and high school. Um, so I grew up with a single parent household, right?
yeah.
So my mother raised me. In junior high, I was in athletics and everything, but I didn't really, be full fledged in sports.
Okay.
I would play sports, in the neighborhood, play some basketball, play some football, whatnot, backyard football, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I never really been full fledged in sports like that. But I would say my junior high school life, I went through a whole lot actually. I went through a whole lot. I went through things going on with my siblings, things going on with me, with my peers, my friends, and stuff like that. So it got real tough in my junior high school years. It got pretty tough. Um, just hanging out with the wrong crowd, you know, hanging out with the wrong crowd and just making poor choices,
Yeah.
as a youngster.
So what
Poor
do you think?
choices.
Yeah, I think we all make poor choices. I mean, as a youngster, I was raised by a single parent. Uh, Fortunately for me, I moved around so often that I don't think I had time to be able to get in trouble. Like every year, I was in a new school.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I may have got in trouble at one school, but however, I wasn't able to attach to friends that I could get in trouble with the next year.
True, true, true.
I think that's what the saving grace
That's a
for me.
blessing though.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Sixth grade for me was a challenge. I was an honor student in sixth grade, played basketball as well in sixth grade, but I got in trouble a couple times in sixth grade. I remember this one particular time, the same week that I got student of the week is
Mm-hmm.
the same. It was like that Friday where I took something from this girl. It was a protractor,
Yeah.
and
A
I ran.
protractor.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
was
that's school days for real. That's legit school.
and it was still in the case, or was it? I can't remember specifically, but I took it and I ran up this little ramp that we have on the second floor, and she was right by her locker, and it was the same week, like I said, that I got student of the week. But my mom was checking me out early. It was on a Friday, and I took it from her, and she said, "You better give it back," or something like that, and I threw it to her.
Trip. Where'd you throw it to?
Protractor, a protractor. I threw it to her.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
You
that's buck wild.
know?
That's buck
So
wild.
I would do things like that. So I didn't have
Yeah,
that male figure per
of
se at
course.
the
Of
time.
course. You
So
know,
as you, yeah, go ahead. What you about to say?
hmm
Go ahead. What were you about to say?
now I was now I was gonna tell you a little bit about because that kind of reminded me of, certain things that I went through in junior high. Like because
You broke up a little bit. Okay.
can you hear me?
Let me- Yeah, I can hear you now. You just had it may have been me, but it was a
You
small
got me?
delay. Yeah, I can hear you, but your
All right, cool,
speed.
cool, cool.
I can hear you, but the speed hasn't caught up back
So like
with you yet.
oh,
Let me see.
it's good now.
Like I can hear you, but you're paused, but I can
Mm-hmm.
hear you. So let me see. Go.
Pause.
Yeah,
Like
you may have
my
to
my body is
go out.
paused.
Yeah, you may have to go out and then come back in.
Go out.
Yeah, and then come back in.
So hit leave.
Yeah,
Hit
and then
leave.
come back. Yeah, and then come back. Oh, you good right there. Yeah, you was good. It's technology, right? So I am definitely going to get into the conversation about why did he decide to uh, step into a stepfather role, because that is an interesting conversation nowadays, especially if you're listening to people like Anton Daniels or Fresh and Fit, or Kevin Samuels, right? So it's going to be interesting to have that conversation. Yeah, we back. You say you had a thought of when you was in middle school.
Yeah, I had to be like in what grade was I in? Ninth, ninth grade possibly.
Yeah.
So I was in ninth grade, man, and and in that time, like you get to dating and dealing with girls and stuff like that. So I don't know if and during that time I caught myself feeling myself
Yeah.
or just biting off more than I can chew. That's really what I was doing, biting off more than I can chew. So I'm trying to simplify the story the best that I can. So I was dating this young lady, and we started talking or whatnot. Great girl. Started talking, but right before we started talking, but right before we got serious, I was kind of talking to another young lady. Right,
Mm.
this in the ninth grade, right? So
Mm.
the first young lady, like she stayed in the same neighborhood, like down the street. So all the time after school, like we had easy access. We were able to kick it and hang out and stuff like that. So we was hanging out for a while, and we built a little friendship, relationship, or whatnot. Really a friendship, and so it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But at school there was this other girl that I really liked, and she liked me or whatnot. So we started off the top on a serious type of tip. So we're dating.
Did she
I'm,
know that?
huh?
Did she know y'all were dating?
The first girl?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
she found out quick through the grapevine because the girls, they're so close knit. Everybody knows everybody, so things are bound to get out. So I started dating the other girl on a serious note. So we're dating and whatnot, doing our thing. Then the first young lady, she starts to hear things through the grapevine that I'm over here on this side of the school with my homeboys talking to the other chick, dating or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I had one of my classes in the portables, and I knew like my girlfriend. She said she had like switched classes,
What?
and she was on like a certain part of the school, and I had to realize like, dang, when classes change, I know they're gonna have to intersect and cross each other's paths. And by that time, the other girl, she was a little bit aggressive. She was kind of rough around the edges. So like she was already on some antagonistic type of stuff. Like she wasn't feeling the other chick at all. So I'm in a portable. Something just told me. I said, let me go a different route to my next class. I said I need to go through this one hallway to make sure don't nothing pop off. Cause I know they're gonna cross at that hallway. So I'm coming down the hallway with my homeboy, and I just see my girlfriend. She's power walking down the hallway, just going off at the mouth. You need to get this girl. She's crying. You need to get this girl. I don't know who this she thinks she is. I'm a whoop. I'm a whooper. I said, man, I knew I should have came down this hallway. So I keep on walking a little bit further. I see the other chick, and she's pretty much carrying off doing the same thing. And teachers had to come and kind of settle everything out, and I had to calm down my girlfriend. It was real, real bad. And like one of my teachers, she was like one of the cool teachers, and she pulled me to the side. She was like, "Listen, I don't think he's a little player now. He
Mm.
think he's a little player." I'm like, "Man, that is not the case." But
Obviously, that is the case.
right, that part. So man, that was really one of the first lessons I learned. In like, you cannot play both sides, and that's not cool at all.
So,
But
did you learn from that later? Go ahead and finish
well,
that thought. Finish that thought. Finish the thought you
right,
just
right,
had.
right. So at that moment, I realized like, man, like that's really not what's up. So like from that point on, I really had to regain my girl's trust. So what I realized is that like you're really hurting two people at one time. A lot of times we think we're hurting our girl, but really we're hurting two people,
Mm.
not
Explain
just one.
why you say
So
that. Why you say two people and not one?
because like say you're in a relationship with somebody, and you're as a man you're doing the most, and we think, well, if my girl don't know about it, I'm not hurting her. Or if the other chick um gets to deal with me or whatnot, she ain't tripping because she gets to deal with me. But once everything clashes, it's like you're hurting two people.
I see.
You're hurting two people, and it never ends well at
I got
all.
you. I
But
got
that
you.
was one of those young and naive situations, man. Like
So did
ninth
you learn your
grade.
so you learned your lesson as you went to, I guess you get to be 18, you graduate from high school. Then what's the then when does you started thinking about marriage and kids? When did that happen?
Mm, probably I'm 29 right now.
Okay.
So I really started thinking about that honestly, like on a serious note, at about 27,
Mm,
2 years ago.
really?
And yeah, so I'm gonna tell you what happened. Um, about 20, yeah, about 27, going on 28. So I'm gonna tell you what happened. So, um, I had a few, a handful of relationships in my life, in my adulthood. Um, but they all failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
They all failed. Everything prior to my marriage, obviously, they all failed. So I remember, so I'm close knit with my church family, and I have an older church sister. She's kind of like a church mother to me.
Okay.
She loves me to death. Like she'll do anything for me, and it's the same vice versa. And I remember after one of my last breakups, I was single at the time, and I went over there to the back of the church, and she was standing there at the back of the church, and she told me, she said, "Brother Lasana, you had some great women in your life." She said, Lasana, you had some great women in your life. She said, don't let the next one go. She said, the next one God sends you, do right.
Mm.
So like when I said she spoke to my heart when she said that, because it was certain thoughts was already going through my mind. Like I really need to enter into a new season in my life because I want more out of life.
Mm.
So when she told me that, that allowed me to recognize the cycle that was going on in my life. And when I say a cycle, it's really come from generations in my family, generations from the men in my family. Like my older brother, he, he has, multiple children or whatnot. I
Okay.
seen him have multiple women, and he just like he finally got married like in his 40s, right?
Mm.
Got
Mm-hmm.
married in his 40s. It was a surprise to everybody, you know. Even my father, like he was an educator, but at the same time, he was, he was out there,
Okay.
in a sense, So I had to learn what was going on in my family, generational wise, with the men in my family,
Mm.
and I had to recognize the cycle that was going on in my life.
Mm.
Date a young lady. We go strong for about a year and a half. Something happens. We break up. Date a young lady. Go strong for about a year and a half. We break up. We separate. Either it's on her end or it's on my end.
Right.
Something always goes down. So once I recognized that cycle in my life, I recognized it was a problem, and that's when I started learning how to deal with it and just recognizing it so I can stop it in its tracks and
Mm.
really look at myself, examine myself, and see what's going on with the song.
Mm.
So when I met my wife, when I started dating, we was dating going strong, and we started to fuss and fight over certain things or whatnot, and in the past, like we'll fuss and fight. Like in my past relationship, we'll fuss and fight,
You
get
slow.
cool, but I'm slowing down, and then like we'll fall off and break up, breaking up a little bit. What you need me to do?
Doing well. There we go.
Good.
Yeah, the weather is was tripping on the signal.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so we're good now.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I would argue, with my wife when we were dating, um, I just had to really stop myself in my tracks and recognize and kind of recognize that cycle that was trying to repeat itself again. So dealing with my wife, I really had to deal with my issues, my internal issues head up. So I won't have to go through that same cycle anymore.
So that was before. So okay, this is my question because I mean I have several questions, but
Hmm.
as a single man and not having any kids, what made you be open, I guess, to even wanting to be a stepfather?
Right, right, right. Um, I think it really goes back to, well, so one thing I realize is that when I'm dating a girl, when I find an interest in a girl and a woman, um, I realize that if I'm dealing with her, I have to deal with everything that comes with her.
Mm-hmm.
I have to deal with everything that comes with her. If I, want to be in her life, want her to be in my life, I can't want all of her, then accept just parts of her. I can't nitpick.
Okay.
So I was willing to accept everything that came with her. And she came with a daughter at the time, a 9-year-old daughter. And I realized that since me and my woman we're getting serious and we're building a relationship, I have to build a relationship with her daughter also. So that was my mindset um, with dating, with dating her. So and it comes back to when I was a child, wanting that father figure also. So I kind of feel like I'm in those shoes now, because her father is not really in her life like super actively, but he's in it. But it's kind of offset a little bit, So I was more than willing to step up to it.
So walk me through how it's been as because how long you been married?
August 8th will be a year.
Okay, so not even a year yet. So
Mhm.
walk me through the conversations that you've had prior to marriage of how y'all was going to raise your 9-year old your 9-year old daughter,
Right,
or
right,
what,
right.
or was there a conversation?
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a conversation about just how we were going to raise her. One thing about me, I'm real observant. So I seen like when me and my wife were dating, I seen how she raised her daughter. Like her daughter had like our daughter now, but her name was Kendall, and
Okay.
Kendall had a set schedule when she goes to sleep. Kendall, she only child, of course, so everything she had was hers. She didn't really have to share. Um, she ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Oh
supper.
wow.
So she's a young girl, so she likes to snack throughout the day. But
Okay.
her mom really had her on the schedule and was really like had her sheltered,
Okay.
to where she was very protected.
Mm.
So me in my childhood, I wasn't the only child. I actually have 8 sisters.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I have 8 sisters, I have older brothers and everything. So my childhood was different. We had to share everything, share
I'm
the
sure.
rest. Huh?
I say I'm sure.
Yeah, we had to share everything, share the restrooms, um, like the whole nine. Even like I have nephews that's actually older than me. My nephews used to give me their hand me downs. You know what I'm saying? Like my
Yeah.
older nephew used to give me his hand me down. So stuff like that. So I know my childhood and Kendall's childhood was different. So me when I stepped in, my mindset was like I totally accepted the way my wife raised Kendall and
Okay.
is still raising Kendall. But my mindset was to show her like just a different side, just so she can um, gain new knowledge, understand just about life.
Mm.
Like, when I came into the picture, Kendall didn't really know how to ride a bike at 9 years old.
Oh.
So I take her outside, teach her how to ride a bike, and like she learned how to ride a bike, dealing with me, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that was
Okay.
something that we really used to build a relationship in the beginning and really build a trust factor, to know that she can really trust me trying out something new.
Mm.
So my
Yeah.
wife, she's more so like the conservative, careful side, and I'm more so the adventurous side.
Hey, most dads are, bro.
Yeah, correct, correct,
Most dads are. So
correct.
how did you find out that she did not know how to ride a bike?
Well, so when I went to go visit my wife at her apartment, I would see Kendall's bike in the back on the balcony,
Okay.
and it was just there. Like I'll come there, it'll be in the same spot. It'll be in the same spot. It'll be in the same spot. And the back tire was flat also. So when you see
Okay.
that, that bike ain't been used in a long time when that
For
tire
sure.
get flat.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I believe I must have had a conversation with my wife, and she had told me Kendall doesn't know how to ride a bike. Like she tried to teach her, and she was just real afraid. And so I had a conversation with Kendall. I said, "You know how to ride a bike?" She was like, "No, I don't know how to ride a bike." And I remember her telling us that she wanted a what is it called? A hoverboard. So
Oh.
I was like, you can't learn how to ride a hoverboard until you learn how to ride this bike.
Ah.
So, and I still wanted to, build that relationship with her.
Yeah.
So we went out to, I put the bike in the back of my truck, and we went out to an open parking lot out there in like Euless. And we got on that bike, and when she got on the bike, and I showed her how to keep her balance and everything. And I held the seat until she got her balance, and I would let go. I would run behind her just in case she kind of tip over, and I'll catch her.
Yeah.
And we'll do it again. She'll tip over, I'll catch her. And I'll tell her, I said, you gotta keep on pedaling. You gotta hold the handlebar. You gotta just keep on going. And like that first day, she got a hang of it. She got a hang of it. And she was still kind of, nervous a little bit. But by the
Yeah.
second day, she was able to ride and able to, turn in circles and everything and really do her thing.
The second day,
Mm-hmm.
that's
She
pretty
learned
dope. It really
awesome.
doesn't take that long to learn how to ride a bike. As I recall, I had taught my son and my oldest daughter, who's Gianna, who's 12, and my son, who's 9. I taught them when I think we had bought them bikes, but we took them to the country, even though they didn't know how to ride bikes. But
Right.
we took them to the country, and I was like, I'm just gonna spend this time teaching them how. And one of the ways that I taught them how is that they had to get on the bike and they had to ride down a hill. It wasn't a steep hill.
Right.
It was probably like 5-6 feet, maybe a 25 degree incline,
Mm-hmm.
and they just had to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't balance them or anything. I said, if you
Yeah.
can do this and you balance yourself, you just need to make sure you don't run into that ditch that's about 50 feet away.
Right. Right.
Make sure
Right.
you turn, and
That hill will get
that's
you
how
right.
they that hill will get you right. So
That'll
that's
get
what's
you
up. So when you so talk to me, how do you what commonalities have you seen between, even though she's not yours biologically, what are some of the things that you see in her that you see in yourself?
right. Okay, that's a good question. Let me see. Let me ponder on that. What thing do I see in
Absolutely.
her? Yeah, what thing do I see in her? That I see in my
That's what I
Oh,
do, man. I
oh, for
ask those
sure.
type of questions, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm telling you, man, you a mastermind. You a mastermind. But I found the answer. I thought about it.
Okay,
I got the light bulb. Ding, ding, ding.
bet.
So, okay, so Kendall, she's into like arts and crafts and
Okay.
being creative and stuff like that.
Mm,
Um, so we done had conversations and talks. So I realized like she has that like entrepreneurship type of vibe.
okay.
I remember like she likes jewelry and stuff like that. So I know one time she wanted her mom to order her like a ring set off like Amazon.
Mm,
And her mom ordered the ring set, and it was like a big old box full of rings. And like it not full of rings, I'm sorry. It had like all the parts. It had like the wire to where you can ravel it and put like the gems on it to
wow.
look like a rock, and you can size it to put it on your finger. So she had
Okay.
the whole kit. She can make a whole bunch of rings and everything. So when I got home, like I knew it came in the mail and everything. And when I got home, she her mom wanted her to ask me a question. She was like, Kendall has a question for you. Kendall wants to ask you something. And she was like, what you need, Kendall? What you want? And she was like, I want to start selling rings. And I want to learn how I can sell the rings. When she told me that, like I just lit up, like I was ready. I came into the living room. I said, all right, so this how you do. We gotta see how much did you buy it for? Okay, you bought it for $25. So how many rings can we make? And we had a full conversation on how many rings we can make and
Mhm.
how to size them and how to
That's
just organize everything and how to make a profit. If we sell
mhm.
this many rings, we can make this much. If we sell it for $5 or whatnot, so
That's
she has that entrepreneur edge, and we have that in common.
that's what's up. So, what do you think has been the one thing that you, well, you can give me a couple that you've
Mhm.
learned about being a stepfather that you did not necessarily uh, think that you would be learning.
Wow, wow. I would say to really I realize that it's important to really learn your child, your stepchild, to really learn them because they all have their own personality. And like when me and Kendall are like, say we're in the car, I realize like she likes to have conversation. It's like she's just like her mom. She likes to communicate. She likes to talk. So a lot of times, I just let her talk and I make sure I listen just because we can catch back on it on our next conversation. Like she likes to talk about traveling. She tells me, where she wants to go when she grows up, where she wants to live, what she wants to do. So the main thing is just letting them be themselves. And I think that's important because if I let her be herself and let her open up to me, when she gets older, she won't be afraid to open up to me and let me know what's going on with her in her mind or what's going on, with her peers and stuff like that. I don't ever want to be the parent to where like my child feels like they need to shut me out of certain things. I really want to have that open relationship with them.
So what has been the the challenge um, thus far?
That's fine.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, what has been the challenge thus far as being a stepfather? The reason why I ask, I don't, it's this big movement right now,
Mm-hmm.
with, whether it's Kevin Samuels or Fresh and Fit or these different manosphere, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
They would say that it's a bad idea to marry a woman that already has a kid.
I heard that. I heard that dialogue before. Yeah.
That's so weird. I don't understand why it has to be that so weird. Because my internet connection is fine. It's just weird. The internet just be tripping sometimes. So how?
It
Uh,
might be my internet. I don't know.
okay. Nevertheless, it'll be okay. This has happened before. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
It's just a part of you know of the
Mm-hmm.
process.
Yeah.
So with all of these people in the manosphere saying it's not a good idea to uh, I guess marry a woman that is has a child already. What has been some of um, the challenges, but then also what has been some of the rewards of being a stepfather or a step in father or a step in dad?
I like that. I like that. Step in there. That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
for sure.
So man, that's a real good question, Elijah. And like I want to be real transparent with my answer just because I know uh millions of other followers are gonna watch this, one day
One
and they're
day,
gonna see
yeah,
it, man. And they're
for
gonna
sure,
watch it across all the airways. So I do want to be transparent just to help somebody and just identify with somebody.
for sure.
So one of the struggles is definitely well, I ain't gonna say I'm not gonna say one of them, but some of the struggles are, I would say. So like in past relationships, like if I've dealt with a young lady that has a child, usually that child is probably about, you know, 7, 8, 9, or even like they're a little bit younger. So once I get into the picture after a year and a half, 2 years, they easily gravitate to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's almost natural because I'm really from a young age, I'm that first or only, man influence in their lives. So they
Yeah.
gravitate to me quick and it's almost like real natural.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, when I met my wife, Kendall, she was 9, going on 10. So she was in that preteen type of age, and it was just only her and her mom. And her mom wasn't really, super, dating like that. So she was just used to them too. So when I came in the picture, um, at first, it was cool. Like, Mr. L is nice. Mr. L is cool. I like Mr. L when everything was on the surface.
Yeah.
But when me and her mother got like real close and started spending time together, and I started coming around more, I could tell things somewhat changed as far as Kendall's disposition because I know and I totally understand that she's used to having unlimited access to her mother,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
So I can see like the shift, the change. Um, and another thing, her being 9, 10 years old, it wasn't easy for her to fully, gravitate to me as their father figure, because it was a transition for her. So I definitely, felt some resistance then. And even till this day, there still is, we're still trying to smooth out the kinks and everything in our relationship. One thing about being a step-in father is that sometimes the child that you're stepping in for, children, they always long for a relationship with their biological father.
Yes.
So that's one of the things Kendall longs for is that relationship with her biological father. And like he comes around occasionally or whatnot. He shows up. He lives in St. Louis. So I mean, with Kendall wanting that relationship, it can be the smallest gesture that he does, and
Ah.
she will amplify it.
Mm.
Like she's all in, and he's capable of dropping the ball still, but just the fact of him doing the gesture, she's all in. And but me on the other hand, I really have to smooth out some kinks just to get that same type of response,
Wow.
from her. So that's one thing, I'm dealing with like right now to this day. One thing I did realize is that like a relationship was my goal, my dream. A relationship was my wife's goal and dreams. And a lot of times we have to understand and respect like a child's goal and dreams.
Wow.
So Kendall's goal and dreams, she wants that relationship with her father. She wants that vibe. So that is something that I'm dealing with right now, Elijah. So
I appreciate your candidness, bro.
oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So I mean, that's one of the things, and I would say um, it's so much, but just really getting into that relationship because like in the past it was easy because the children, they was younger and they were just, it was a quick bond.
Yeah.
So, right now, me and Kenna, we're still building our bond. Like, we'll go out, spend some time together every now and then, take her to the pool. And, like when me and my wife got married, um, I had vows for my wife and I had vows for Kendall.
Oh, okay.
So like our wedding was beautiful. Like when I told Kendall my vows to her, vows to protect her, make sure she's good, be there for her. Like it was all from the heart. Like I didn't write it down or anything, but
Mm.
when I started, like probably into the first 3 or 4 words, like she waterworks, crying. I'm talking about ugly cry, you know. ugly cry. You know, the whole church was crying. I was crying. My wife was crying.
So she
Sister,
has some
brothers.
value. So she has some value in esteeming you.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just a
very
matter
much.
of, as you stated, that she and anybody longs to be connected to their biological father.
Hmm.
And that's a really good point that you made of just understanding that that is a disposition of a kid if you're going into that situation that they long for their biological father if he's available for sure, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that you're secondary. I mean, but at the same time, you know that you have to be primary in the situation if that
Right.
dad is not doing his job, right?
Right.
So that's
Correct.
very commendable. So what had last question on this? What has been the positive that you can pull from or have seen by being a step in dad?
Oh yeah. Um. It's a whole lot of positives, man. It's a whole lot of positive.
Okay.
Just the fact that I'm able to step in and fill that void of a father. And Kendall knows like she has a stepfather that really loves her and that will do anything for her. And Kendall, she has a cousin that lives in St. Louis, and I know it's they're on the phone a lot. They play like Roblox and Roblox, what they
Yeah,
call Robux, and
yeah,
they're
my
always
kids
on the
do
phone,
too.
yeah, doing
Yeah.
stuff. And it's cool. Like when I hear her on the phone, and when she's talking to her cousin, like she will say, like if she's talking about her parents, she'll be like, "My mom and my dad are in the living room." She'll
Ah,
say stuff like that because I know like her cousin, um, her cousin's father isn't really in the picture either, right?
okay.
So I know Kendall, she feels kind of good to know that she has a father now, a dad in the picture. So she kind of makes her feel good a little bit. Um, so I mean, so that's one thing, that's one good takeaway. Another good takeaway, just man, me being able to teach her things because when I came into the picture, like she was real sheltered, like her mom, has her sheltered. So it's awesome that I'm able to just show her different things, take her outside and really like show her how to ride a bike, how to ride a hoverboard, how to, like really like how to cross. I had to show her how to cross the street, just things like that. And just having our little side conversations and stuff like that. Like we just moved and we just moved into a house out here in Hazlitt.
Mm,
And in my adult life, never been in a house before. My wife never been in a house before. Kendall never been in a house before. And before we moved into a house, we would always go to like different neighborhoods and just look at the houses. And oh, that's a nice house. That's a fat house over there. That mug clean.
yeah.
So like we used to do that just to pass time. And when we moved, me and Kendall had walked to the park together. And while we were walking to the park, um, we was talking, and she told me, she said, "I remember when we used to go to different neighborhoods, and look at the house." She said, "It's real cool that we're actually living in one of those neighborhoods now." So it really blessed me that I was able to, put her in this situation,
Yeah.
because she been had her own room, but she has more space. The room is a little bit bigger. And the house is not really. It's a great starter home, but it's just the fact that I was able to put her in a home and just do that for her.
Yeah. That's what's up. So we're going to transition to our three questions. Matter of fact, that was really good that you was able to kind of find the positive and the negative, but at the same, the positive seems to be overflowing the negative because
Mhm.
the negative can be, uh, it can be changed. It's a work in progress, right? Because it's such a new relationship, if you will,
Mhm.
and as she's transitioning through adolescency, uh, that's a challenge within itself. I want you to go check out the podcast that I did with Michael, who's a step-in dad, and he had his wife had three other kids, and then he had one with her, and he talks about what the dynamic was when he ended up having his own kid. So that was an interesting conversation to say the
Yeah, that's
least.
dope.
Uh, yeah, and so as we transition, I need you to give me a number between 1 and 45. We'll do three questions. These are just get to know you, have fun questions.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a number between 1 and 45.
1 and 45. I'll do
Yeah,
32. 32.
32.
Yeah.
What are your top five memories throughout your life so far?
My top five memories throughout my life so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Not in any really like from greatest to least, just
No.
top. Okay. So I would say when my mother came back from Liberia after when I seen her for about 2.5 years, about 2 years after my father passed, because it was real hard for her to get back because that time in Liberia, um, it was civil war going on, like the aftermath of a civil war during that time, and it was just hard for my mother to get back, money wise and everything. I was young during that time, but I know it kind of took a little while for her to come back to the States. So it was amazing when she came back when we got the phone call saying that she was in Houston at my aunt's house, and I was in Dallas at the time. I was
Oh
young.
wow.
I was in Dallas with my sister. So when we got the call that she was in Houston in the United States, me and my sister that's closer to me in age, like we shot out there, drove, and we got reunited with our mother.
Okay, that's one. What's the
That's
next one?
one. Two would be when I gave my life to Christ at 17,
Okay.
17, 18 years old. I was going through so much, and I remember the night when I gave my life to Christ.
Wow.
I was 17 years old, going through so much,
Yeah.
I was in a major crossroads in my life. Like when I say I was going through like legal troubles, I was
Oh,
going through relationship troubles, like everything a 17-year-old can go through. I was going through it.
wow.
And my sister, like she was one of the first people saved in my family, like born again and everything. And we had a phone call, we had a conversation on the phone. I was in my room, laying on my bed, looking at the ceiling, and I was telling her what I was going through, and I felt like my mom was gone, and we prayed on the phone, and I gave my life to Christ that night. So,
That's what's
and it
up.
was
That's
crazy,
two. That's
huh?
dope. I
Yeah,
said that's
it's
dope.
crazy because a week and a half after I gave my life to Christ, like I went to jail, right? Right. So, but God
That's a
worked through
memory
all.
for sure.
Yeah, He worked through all that situation.
Wow.
Um, and let's see, number three would be, and not in no order. Number three would be, of course, when I got married to my wife.
Yeah.
My wedding day. That was one of my fondest memories. My wedding day.
That's what's up.
Let's see, four would be um, great memory. Great memory. Ooh, let me think. I would say probably when I when I passed my barber exam.
I was like, when is he gonna say that? That made me
Yeah,
excited.
when I passed my barber exam,
Okay.
um, and people don't know, like they see me now in the in the barber industry, but I failed my practical 3 times
Oh wow.
before I
That
finally
is
passed.
crazy.
I passed my written the first time, but my practical I failed 3 times, and there's a crazy story behind all that. And number five would probably be, mm, dang, let me think on this. Man, this is a tough one. Five would be, man, I got so many, man. I would just choose probably when one of my older sisters, um, like I got so many stories, man. But
Just give me one, and then we can go to the next one.
right,
You
right,
know,
right. Okay. I would honestly say probably when we moved into this house. I would say that
okay.
one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
buying a new house. That's what's up. Okay,
Yeah.
give me a second number.
A second number? Okay.
Yeah.
11.
When did you have your first kiss?
That's funny. Oh my goodness, boy. Dang. Mm, I can't even go deep into it, but about 14.
About 14. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what's
14.
up. All right.
Yeah.
My daughter recently asked me when was the first time I approached a girl.
Oh, really?
She asked me that last week.
Yeah.
I had to have that conversation. That was pretty cool.
That's that's
All right.
that's
What? Hey, she was bold enough to ask. I said, I'll answer it.
right.
What's the next number?
7. Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. Which is the very best Christmas present you have received or given to someone else?
Christmas present. Oh man, Christmas present. I would say when my mom bought me a it was like a bright red um what brand was it? I think it was a bright red mongoose.
What is that?
A bike.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It
Okay.
was a bright red bike. Like
Oh, okay. That's
growing
what's
up,
up.
everybody wanted a mongoose, right? And like growing up, I was kind of late with the stuff that was trending.
Yeah.
So when I got that, like I loved it. It was red. It had pegs on it. It was though had pegs in the front and in the back, I believe. But it was crazy because when I went outside to ride it, like I think I'm doing my thing or whatnot. When I went outside on that Christmas day, I seen kids riding motorized scooters and stuff like that. I said, God dang. I like, man, hold up. But I love that bike. You couldn't tell me
Okay.
nothing on that bike. Couldn't tell me nothing.
That's that's what's up. I appreciate you answering our funny questions. We got two more questions to go, and I prompted you for this one a couple weeks ago. The question is, what TV dad would you say you resemble the most thus far?
The most thus far. That
Yeah,
I resemble the most thus far.
past or present?
Past or present.
Yeah.
TV dad. I would say, ooh, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one, and you had like a week to think
Yeah,
about
I know. I only really pondered on it the day you asked me. I ain't really think about it then.
Listen, it don't change that it was still a week.
Right, that part. Uh, I
Name
would
some that you're thinking about. Name some of the ones that you're thinking about.
well right now the first thing that comes to my mind is James Avery, Uncle
Okay.
Phil. Uncle
Okay.
Phil.
Okay.
Um, I would say the dad from Good Times, but
Okay. He's
he
pretty
was a little bit,
strict.
huh?
He was very strict.
Yeah, exactly. He was probably a little bit, too strict, like real
Yeah.
strict. Um, I'm probably gonna go ahead and go with James Avery though,
Okay.
because like
Okay.
I feel him because he was a father, but he was an uncle too, and like
Yeah.
I got a lot of nephews, so
Yeah.
I'm real
He was
close to my
also a step
nephews.
in dad. That made him a step in dad too, because he
Yeah,
was with him.
yeah, made him a step in dad. So I would say James Avery.
That's what's up. Okay. Last question. Um, the last question is, um, how would you want to be remembered by Kendall and any other kids that you all decide to have, if y'all have them? What would you want them to say about you?
I would want them to say I had a dad that really taught me things about life and taught me how to maneuver throughout life and taught me how to make sound decisions and taught me about business and how to maintain and a dad that really loved them
Mm.
and gave them happy memories. That's what I want to be remembered by.
That's what's up. I
Yeah,
appreciate that, man. Hey, I appreciate you doing this doing this for me, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
for sure.
Kind of, yeah. Give the people, how can they reach you? I know, I know a couple places that, but you can speak up on that. Like, how can people get in touch with you?
Right on. You can get in contact with me through Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. I know a lot of people are active on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Kutter Concepts. That's Kutter Concepts. You put that in the search bar, I'll pop right up. I am a barber in the Dallas Fort Worth area. That's what I'm known for. That's what I've always been known for. So you can definitely reach me on Instagram.
That's what's up, man. Anything? Any final words you want to say to the people?
Um, I just want to say to all the fathers out there, man, like being a father, a step-in father, biological father, it's an honor to do that, and it's an honor to be an active father. You actually get so much more in return than you think you get in return. You get memories, you get, just the accolades from, the children, from your stepchildren. Like me growing up without a father, there's a lot of things that I had to learn the hard way and the long way. So when you're a stepping father, you really help the child not really have to learn so hard. So I mean, it's. I just want to encourage you, even in the hard times, the good times, just to keep on pushing. Like what you do as a father is highly appreciated. You know, if your baby mother doesn't tell you, if whoever doesn't tell you, I'm telling you that you really appreciate it. Definitely.
That's what's up. Well, this has been another edition of Humble Dad Podcast with Mr. Lasana, my barber, King Kutter. It's been an honor and a privilege, man. We appreciate you, and we out here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Deuces.
Deuces, man.